So, behavioural scientists have demonstrated that uncertainty about what might happen to us can be more painful than things that actually happen. So, in an experiment, one group of people were told they would probably receive an electric shock, and the other group were told they had a 50% chance of receiving a shock. Those who knew it were coming were calmer, and when the shock came, they felt it less. Those who didn't know it were coming were more anxious when it came, and it hurt them more. And the bottom line is, uncertainty can be more painful than pain, and it can amplify the pain we experience. And we have some of the greatest uncertainty for a generation that we're living with. So, I've never been good at waiting for something bad to happen. Don't know about you. As a child, I faced a capricious mother who was very abusive, and when abuse came, I was actually relieved. The next beating meant that the time of walking around on eggshells waiting for things to happen was over. I used to dread the waiting more than the pain. Now, expecting the worst at any moment became a necessary survival mechanism for me, and it served me well until later in life. I still have an ability, a bit like a spider sense I call it, to know when something's up with someone. I don't even need to speak or meet with them, and yet I can just sense something's out of order. But the ability to anticipate the future has been exhausting and anxiety inducing over the years. Mark Twain said something that's certainly been part of my life experience. I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. Isn't that a great quote? Now, I've come a long way over the last 30 years, but I've still got a long way to go. When COVID and lockdown hit, I knew one of my greatest challenges would be living with an extended period of uncertainty. And on a scale of 1 to 10, this COVID time might be a 10 in terms of an age of uncertainty. And as I pause and listen to my body for symptoms of anxiety and some of those old survival subroutines from my childhood, I can feel them trying to boot up to help me. And part of me wants all the bad things that might happen in the face of COVID to happen now. I could deal with that, but not knowing what will come in the next few months is far harder for me to live with. So part of my brain is still humming along saying, "Danger, Jason Clark. How can I take a day off and let my guard down when the day I do might be the day whatever it is, all kicks off?" I do take my day off, but all too often I'm still looking over my shoulder and I'm prone to making 2 and 2 equal 5. Some things take place around me, for instance, a conflict here, a disappointment there, and I overread them as signs of a storm in the distance that I need to brace for. And what happens is then I miss the good before me in the foreground of my life because I'm scanning the horizon for trouble. So I am reaching for my newer habits, the ones that I've developed over the years since I became a Christian, and I'm trying to be more conscious of them and plug them more deliberately into my daily life. So first I hit the pause button and I notice where my attention is and where the feelings of any foreboding are in my body, and then I name them for what they are. Not necessarily the truth, but a story I'm in danger of making up in my thoughts and my feelings. And I look at that story and I assess it and I ask myself, what reflexes are kicking in? Is it some of the things I'm prone to and have been prone to of over responding, overthinking? Because those are the tools that I use to try and feel in control. You'll have yours. I wonder what they are. And then instead I go to God in prayer and I surrender to Him and I locate that story of what's happening to me in Him and with the bigger story of Jesus. My flesh and my heart definitely may fail, but God is my strength and my portion forever. Still one of my favourite psalms, and I will take a deep sigh as I pray that and bring my concerns and that story to God. So I embrace again that I was never in control in the first place. There is a certainty and a clarity that can be found at the foot of the cross. Dying to myself is something I can do now. I don't have to anticipate the worst to survive on one hand, and I don't have to live in some sort of super Christian denial about what might yet come. Instead, I can take my uncertainty to the cross. And that's always been the safest place in life to go to. Always. So, I go there instead of the other places. I try to go there instead of the other places I go to. And I need to go there more often. So, how are you facing this uncertainty? What's it doing to you? What's helping to you? I'd love to know so I can pray for you.